one of the most significant developments of the Spanish Siglo de Oro is the voyage of Christopher Columbus to the New World. He was an Italian, and you can draw some conclusions, perhaps, that an Italian, as thriving as Italy is throughout the Renaissance, an Italian at the height of the Renaissance needed to go away in order to find a funder for this great expedition that he had in mind, to cross over, ostensibly to find a pathway to Asia, and the spice trade and all in China and India. But he had to go to Spain, and Spain was funding at that time. Ferdinand and Isabella, the so-called Catholic monarchs, were on the throne, and they were having a big year. 1492, Columbus sailed the ocean blue. 1492, they funded Columbus to go over and see what he could find. And also, that was the same year that they expelled all non-Christians from their realm. They were looking to win one for the Catholic Church. And they began by kicking out all Jews and Muslims and non-believers and heretics of all kinds. That's an important element of it, but not what we're focusing on right now. In a sense, we'll get there. Columbus, as an Italian, he was an outsider, but he went and he said, "Your Majesties, give me some money. I will put together an expedition. We will sail across the ocean. We will find Asia, and you will make a lot of money in return. This is an investment on your part." And he had that basic salesman's pitch from the beginning. And during that first voyage, where he came and he landed on islands in the Caribbean, never hit the mainland of what would one day become the United States, or anything in North America for that matter. But he landed on islands in the Caribbean, like Hispaniola, and he was finding, he found what he found, and he had to report back to it. Now, he knew what he was looking for. He knew what Ferdinand and Isabella would want. And so he wrote up a little report to them. Now, he sent them a personal communications, of which we do not have, but he sent a public version. The letter concerning the first voyage, technically it went to a bureaucrat in the royal court, but it was a public document. And you can argue that, well, in literature, should we be looking at letters like this? Well, yes and no. But I think it's fair to say that this is less a personal letter. There's no real private information shared. It's not, he's not, "Hey guys, how are you doing?" This is a very public document. And whether or not you want to consider that literature in a creative sense is kind of up to you, but it is fair to bear in mind as well that Columbus employs a fair amount of shaping of the truth, fictional, let's say, or at least propagandistic. He was in full salesman mode when he sat down to write this, and it shows. The concerns that Ferdinand and Isabella would have, these are first and foremost what he is considering, and he makes a full court press to win them over so that they can fund more expeditions and give him more money. So he is dropping these little details throughout. May or may not be entirely true. They tend to be a little bit rosy. I suspect he wasn't outright lying necessarily, but he was shading his characterization of what he found very deliberately. When he says, when I reached Guana, I followed its coast westwardly and found it so large that I thought it might be mainland, the province of Cathay. So he's dropping in like, wow, this place is so big. It's terrific. This is just one little island, and I thought it was the whole continent. And as I did not thus find any towns or villages on the seacoast, save small hamlets with the people whereof I could not get speech, because they all fled away forthwith, I went on further in the same direction, thinking I should not miss of great cities or towns. Now, a couple of things. One, he is saying, it's very big. Two, he's not finding any towns or cities, or even villages. It's not particularly civilized in a European sense. It's not particularly organized in this in this characterization. The people he does find run away. They're not opposing him in any way. They're not saying, hey, you can't land here, or excuse me, what do you want, even. They're just running away, which for a imperial power who is looking to come and exploit a place, that is convenient to have pliant residents on the scene. I sent 2 men into the country to learn if there were a king or any great cities. They traveled for 3 days and found innumerable small villages and a numberless population, but not a ruling authority. Completely disorganized, in other words. Easy to conquer. So he's made that point. Now he's got to move on instead to suggest, well, okay, he didn't find a opposition force that would restrict them from coming and exploiting the natural resources. What natural resources did you find? Well, the most fertile to an excessive degree, and this extremely so. In it, there are many havens on the seacoast, natural harbors for ships to come in. That's convenient. Plenty of rivers, fresh water, and also an easy way to get inland to bring resources that are inland out. Full of trees that never lose their foliage, palm trees of 6 or 8 species, other trees and fruits and plants therein. There are wonderful pine groves and a very large plains of verdure, and there is honey and many kinds of birds and many various fruits. This Edenic, super prolific land. In the earth, there are many mines of metals. They want metals, not just for gold. Gold is what they're really looking for, but any metals will do, because we are now getting into manufacturing. They want raw materials that they can bring back to Spain and start to work with. So a good iron mine is worth something. And there is a population of incalculable number. Again, that sense of population. There are a lot of people there. They're very disorganized, and they run away if you show up. They're scared of us, but that recurring hint that, there are a lot of people here. He's dropping this for a reason. There could be no believing without seeing such harbors as there are, as well as the many and great rivers and excellent waters. He's repeating himself here because he knows what they want to hear, most of which contain gold, dropping the G word. In this, there are many spiceries, which is what they were after in Asia, and great mines of gold and other metals, driving that home, making that point. But he's clear to say that for all the metal that they have, he wants to make sure that Ferdinand and Isabella understand that, well, they're not really doing anything with it. They have no other plans for it. They have no use for it whatsoever. They have no iron or steel nor any weapons. So they're not using it. The metal is there for the taking. And, just a little point, they don't make weapons. What would they want with weapons for? They're very peaceable, loving, welcoming people. In fact, weapons, nor are they fit thereunto, meaning they wouldn't even know what to do with it if they had a weapon. Not because they are not a well-formed people and of fair stature. They have to be big and strong, but that they are most wonderfully timorous. Oh, isn't that cute? They're big and strong and brawny and can do a lot of work, but they're very mild and meek at the same time. They're not going to fight back. But they can do a lot of work. And of course, another thing, they fled away when approached. They're, so scared. They're just little scaredy cats. They'll always scamper off. Unless you give them a reason to stay. And they're easily intimidated. They give away all their stuff. Sometimes without any objection. They have no sense of what is theirs. Of anything they have, if it be asked for, they never say no, but rather invite the person to accept it. So you might as well come and take their stuff, because they're going to give it to you anyway. You just have to pull up the ship and open the hold and say, "Excuse me, take your stuff, put it in my boat, and I'm going to leave with it." Good plan. And you can buy it for nothing. You can trade them just garbage. They took even pieces of broken barrel hoops and gave whatever they had, like senseless brutes. Now we're getting downright insulting. They're animals. Just toss them a few trinkets and they're fine. Just garbage. I have something that's broken. I'm going to trade you this for 15 tons of gold. Fair trade. Yeah. They even took me like senseless brutes, in so much that that it seemed to me bad. Oh, he feels bad that you're treating him so terribly. I forbade it, and I gave gratuitously 1,000 useful things that I carried, probably exaggerating, in order that they may conceive affection and furthermore may become Christians. He wants to establish good relations with these people because he doesn't only want strong people who don't fight back but are superintendents of vast natural resources and gold. He wants them to become Christians. He wants to be able to Christianize them. And here we get into the other big goal that the administration, the reign of Ferdinand and Isabella, the Catholic monarchs, had for the Siglo d'Oro. They want to increase their empire, make a lot of money, but also they want to bolster the Catholic Church, support the Pope. And the Catholic monarchs, as they are known, and I keep stressing that because it's a very important point, see this as their duty on earth, that they will convert vast numbers of people. And here they're finding new continents full of people who have no concept of Christianity. And they're saying, we can get credit for them. We'll put more points on the board for the Catholic Church because so many bad things are happening to that. The Catholic Church has been on a bit of a losing streak lately. We lost the Constantinople and all of the territory from essentially Turkey south and west of there is now lost to Islam. There's some agitation going on by these pesky Northern Europeans and Germans who are starting to talk about not being Christian but not Catholic, and what's that about? So Ferdinand and Isabella are looking to drive one home for the Catholic Church, and this is their other big goal, and they are driving it to try and make money and put more Catholics on the planet.